Okay, that's better. That's when I was down too far. Anyway, here's Railroads episode 24, Carter-Perot RailNet. This week we'll be talking about the Carter-Perot RailNet, which was mentioned in the last episode. This railroad took over the former Georgia and Florida line north from Valdosta, Georgia. However, this is not their only operation. The Valdosta to Willacoochee line, acquired from GFRR, is referred to as the Valdosta Division and is the longest at 43 miles. They also operate the 22-mile-long Madison Division and 15-mile-long Barnesville Division. We will start with the Valdosta Division. This, acquired from Georgia and Florida, is trackage from the original Georgia and Florida, which became part of Southern. This is served by CPR, Carter-Perot RailNet, not Canadian Pacific Railway. SW1500s 3000 and 3001 acquired from PRLX, and GP40 7000 acquired from PRSX. These locomotives power train 21 running from Willacoochee to Valdosta, and train 22 which goes the opposite way. Starting in Valdosta, the CPR interchanges NS in Langdale Yard, the Lincoln Park neighborhood of Valdosta, east of downtown. That is the Rochester and Southern pulling into town. This area has three railroads. The CPR, NS, and CSX form an almost Y. CSX and NS parallel through Valdosta, only a block away from each other, while CPR comes off NS and heads north, crossing CSX after passing an abandoned industry. The crossing of CSX is the east of Valdosta Diamond Railroad crossing. No industries are listed as being in Valdosta, but Reams Concrete is rail served somehow. There is a pair of road switchers owned by the company, so they might directly interchange with NS using CPR trackage. Across from this is another abandoned industry, and then there is nothing more in Valdosta. The railroad's next community is Bemis, B-E-M-I-S-S, which is basically a suburb of Valdosta. Here, there are no industries here, but the railroad parallels Route 125, passing a huge solar farm, and then Moody Air Force Base, before passing just east of Barrett's, Georgia, near the Scruggs Concrete Barrett's plant, which was rail-served once, but no more. The sidings are used to store chemical tank cars now. The CPR then passes through Ray City, where it crosses US 129 and goes back to rural landscape paralleling US 129, heading north. In Nashville, Georgia, is one confirmed industry. WinFab, W-I-N-F-A-B, all capital letters, acronym. Industrial Fabrics. This receives covered hoppers for their business, geotextile fabric, and geosynthetic manufacturing. Next is Coyote Manufacturing, which has a pair of switchers sitting on a spur. This is probably their two SW1500s, since one is in Carter-Perot blue. In Nashville, the CPR takes a fairly sharp curve to turn from northwest to due east. There is an abandoned spur to a building near Chaparral Boats. Leaving Nashville, the rails head east along Route 76. The main turns northeast to reach Willacoochee, crossing the Alapaha River on a long trestle. Approaching Willacoochee, the railroad turns to head north, passing Specialized Structures, L&M Supply Company, and TLC Moldings. They serve TLC wood additives, which on Google Maps is labeled as Langboard NDF. This business receives tank cars of wax. They coat wood there. The tracks continue to Willacoochee, but become overgrown shortly and ends at Main Street. The rest of the right-of-way has the rails removed. This line is only operated on Friday and clearly doesn't have much business, but there is a transload operation in Willacoochee, though its traffic volume is unknown. This route is used by their passenger excursion, the Azalea Splinter, which uses two MRLX passenger cars and CPR Caboose 638, which is of Southern lineage. MRLX Coach 4013 was built as Southern Pacific 2370 in 1950. This became SP 2231 when then Amtrak 4418, before being sold to RQAX as 4013 and then to MRLX as the same. The other passenger car is a table car class built in 1953 as Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 2826 Mojave. This became Amtrak 4819 and then 4725 before being sold to MRLX 800 651. 3 excursions operate in the Valdosta Division from Nashville. The Willacoochee Special goes to, you guessed it, Willacoochee. The Valdosta Special naturally runs south of Valdosta, and the Pizza Special runs to Moody Air Force Base. Quite a ways to the northwest is the CPR Thomaston Division. This only has one locomotive, GP40 7002, which was acquired from the Lake States Railway in Michigan. Built in 1967 as New York Central 3095, this unit worked for Penn Central, Conrail, Kyle, Amtrak, and Helm Leasing before going to the LSRC and finally to CPR. Now this is listed on Railguide as operated by Norfolk Southern, so I'm unsure if the CPR still runs this line. However, the website says they've been operating since 2016. Trackage in Thomaston is a balloon loop which used to have a main heading westbound, and Thomaston is their second transload in 2 industries. Interfor, which is a sawmill making lumber and wood chips, loading centerbeam flats and wood chip hoppers. This is considered in Thomaston, but it's quite a ways northeast of Thomaston. The second industry is halfway to the Rock, Georgia. That is the name of the community, The Rock. I wonder if Dwayne Johnson has been there. This is Dark Container, which receives plastic pellets and covered hoppers for manufacturing of Solo Cups. There are 2 tracks off a long spur. Within sight of this industry, which is considered in a community several miles away, is Quad Graphics, which is considered in The Rock, Georgia, which is less than... The Dark Container is considered several miles away. The way I wrote this, it sounds like I'm talking about Quad Graphics, which is considered in the Rock, Georgia, which is less than a mile from both Dark Container and Quad Graphics. Quad Graphics is on a single spur receiving boxcars related to the printing business. From here, the Thomaston Division parallels Route 36, heading northeast to Barnesville, where they interchange with Norfolk Southern at the intersection of Elm Street and Sardis Street, close to downtown. This 15-mile line is served by Train 7 running Thursday and Saturday from Barnesville to Thomaston, and the counterpart, Train 8, also operating Thursday and Saturday. Located almost due north of Valdosta and northeast of Barnesville is the 3rd Carter-Perot RailNet operation, the Madison Division. Madison is south of Athens, Georgia, and east of Atlanta, just north of Interstate 20. This is busier than both the other divisions, with Train 15 from Madison to Shady Dale and its counterpart, 16, operating Monday, Wednesday, and Friday using GP40 7001 and 7003. 7001 was built in 1970 as Western Pacific 3517, which this served the CMNW as 3517 and then 3000 before being sold to Progress Rail and then CPR. 7003 was built in 1966 as Rio Grande 3065 and was sold to Helm Leasing as 4301, then to Lake States as 4301, before coming to CPR as 7003. In Madison, the CPR runs alongside CSX connecting east of Madison. However, they are not listed as interchanging with CSX currently. East of the connection is the International Paper, Log, and Pulpwood Yard. They also store cars out there. The connection with CSX is actually a joint spur to Georgia Pacific Corporation. The CPR curves southeast while the CSX track comes east off the main, connecting roughly 500 feet north-southeast of the CPR main. It then runs southeast, passing Bulldog Steel Fabrication, which, if it's an active customer, it is served by CSX. The spur turns northeast and passes a place that used to have a switch leading to the back of the International Paper Pulpwood Yard. There is then a nice size runaround track. They then have 2 exterior tracks for unloading wood chip hoppers and log flat cars, and an interior track for loading paper boxcars. Along North 5th Street, just west of the Madison Municipal Airport, is Jdr Enterprises. I didn't mention here, I thought I did, the Georgia Pacific Corporation, the Carter-Perot lost that business to CSX. CSX now serves that paper mill. Carter-Perot does not. I thought I mentioned that here, but I remember that. Just west of Madison Municipal Airport is Jdr Enterprises, which receives covered hoppers for the manufacturing of drainage products. The base of operations is located just east of West Jefferson Street when the main crosses West Washington Street on an overpass 40 feet northwest of the CSX main before curving away and then crossing under CSX, passing in an abandoned industry on the west side of Madison, then reaching Flambeau with a spur to deliver plastic pellets and covered hoppers. The next industry is Pennington Seed, which is located next to Flambeau on US 278, but is served off a different spur on the back. Oddly enough, this spur runs by an unknown business, and on Google Maps it clearly has 5 wood chip hoppers spotted at it. From Madison, the railroad runs south, crossing under I-20 and running through the woods. There is a track used to store tank cars in Godfrey, Georgia, and it's back to woods as the railroad heads southwest and west towards Shady Dale. Approaching Shady Dale, the main comes alongside Route 83. The line passes Champion Lumber and then has a siding to serve the feed mill, Cal Maine Foods, which is their only industry in Shady Dale. Here the main transitions to Norfolk Southern through the interchange, though the interchange likely happens at the siding at Railroad Street, just east of Machen, M-A-C-H-E-N. There is a Carter-Perot line from here that runs north to Newborn, which is used for railcar storage. This used to run to Covington, but has been abandoned through Mansfield to Covington. When the Google satellite went over this area, it was apparently when Carter-Perot served Georgia Pacific and Madison. Here we go. Because there are plenty of empty log cars on one track and plenty of loaded woodshop hoppers in the branch to Newborn. Okay, so I left out the fact that CSX. So I'm glad I remembered to interchange that, to interject that. This finishes off this railroad. I might get a chance to catch the Madison Division in the 2023 trip. I likely will be in that area on a Monday. If I catch it, you will see a video, even if it's a short one with other footage. Carter-Perot RailNet also has a second caboose, 5744, which was built as SAL 5744. It then served SCL 5744, then Seaboard 25744, and then TFTX 5744 before coming to the CPR. Each of these divisions could probably be modeled in a bedroom, regardless of scale, with fairly little compression. Tune in next week when I speak about the Valdosta Railway, a Genesee Wyoming property on the far south of central Georgia.